Alright, here we go. Let's go fly this 40 acres I've been flying every day just to see, you know, what the difference is every day if there's deer, no deer, um, you know the drill. Today I like to talk about a little bit of a controversial subject, which is dogs versus drones. A lot of people I see are very against drones, it seems. I mean, there's a lot of people that are definitely in favor of them, but there's also a lot of people that want to see them banned for recovery because they're worried about people misusing them, which I definitely understand. Um, Now, let's just talk about dogs versus drones. Now, I'll start off by saying that I think dogs are great. I mean, a few years ago, before I ever got a drone, before I ever really knew about drones, I had a dog come out and track and find a buck that I wounded, and I thought that that was just amazing. That deer went over 1,000 yards, and that dog just, you know, just impressed me that it found it. There was no other way I would have found that deer without that dog. You know, and kind of in a way that got me interested in doing recoveries right off of the bat because I thought to myself, wow, that's really cool that you can come help people find their deer that otherwise wouldn't find their deer. And I just thought that was amazing, and I would like, man, I'd really like to be able to help people find their deer. And then I came across these drones, and I thought, well, that's a really cool way of doing it. I already had interest in drones. I was already flying drones, and I just seen how effective they were at finding deer for people. So I wanted to get into it, and then so that's what I've been doing. Um, and now obviously I've learned that there's more uses to it, like this, like doing uh, land surveys and herd analysis and deer census, and I think it's just there's a lot of other benefits to them. So this property today is really struggling. Only a few deer. Let's go. Let's go find a place across the road where I've been seeing most of the deer. Um. So it gets back. Let's get back to the drones versus dogs. So um. So I see a lot of people that are like I said it, that are against the drones, and I get it. Now I just want to ask the question: if you are against drones for recovery, are you all for dogs for recovery? Are you a pro dog and uh anti drone? Because I asked that question because the argument is people say drones should not be in hunting at all. Well, in most places, dogs are not allowed for hunting deer. In most areas, in my state, it's definitely illegal to use dogs for hunting, but it's legal to use dogs for recovery. So there's a very clear and defined difference between hunting and recovery, clearly, because dogs can be used for recovery and not for hunting. It's the same thing with drones. Drones cannot be used for hunting, they can be used for recovery. So I ask, why is it that you are all for dogs for recovery and not drones? Now I know people will say, well, there's a little buck there. Makes me wonder if these bucks here, or these deer here, maybe shed bucks. Let's look at them a little better. People will say, well, people will use drones and then they'll go in, they'll find the deer alive, and then they'll go in and they will dispatch the deer. Well, in my state, that's illegal to do. I'm not allowed to tell. Yep, that's a shed buck. I'm not allowed to tell the hunter where his deer is if it's wounded and not dead. I'm not allowed to do that. That goes against the regulations in my state. And I don't know about you or any other guy that is doing this for recovery, but I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. I love being able to help hunters. And I'm not about to risk what I'm doing just to help one guy go and dispatch his deer that he wounded and didn't make a lethal shot on. I'm just not gonna do it. That looks like a doe. I make hunters sign a waiver when I get there, letting them know what I'm there for. I'm there to recover an expired deer, and we are not there for hunting purposes. And if the deer is found alive, I will not show you where it is. And that's it. There's no weapons anywhere near any of us. We're not going in there after the deer. None of that is happening. It's like the same thing. There's another shed buck. Same idea with dogs. There are people with dogs that they have regulations they have to follow, and I'm pretty sure that they don't want to risk another shed buck. There's a lot of shed bucks. They don't want to risk their business and what they do just to help one guy. They're not going to do it. So the point is, there's regulations put in place to prevent what people are worried about. Now, on top of that, they could add more regulations to drones if people want. Like another example, what they could do is they could say you could only do drone recoveries at night. Okay, that's a regulation they could put in place. That would prevent people from going in there and dispatching deer, because you're not going to be able to go in there at night with a flashlight and shoot a deer. It's just, we all know that's not going to be possible. The deer is not going to sit there and just let you go in there and shoot it. Deer are not. We got to give deer a little more credit than that, okay? So if we had the regulations for only night searches, that would prevent that. Now, personally, I only do them at night because I don't like to fly over other people that could possibly be hunting. Which brings up another point, actually. People are worried about drones flying over and then going in there after the deer. Let's just say, like a hunter. He buys a drone, and instead of going in there and hunting a spot blindly, he just goes and flies the drone above the land, public land, let's say, and he finds a big buck he wants to go after, and then he goes in there after the deer. Now, I understand that concern as well. The problem with that idea is that I don't think people realize how loud these drones are. Okay? These drones are not quiet. I can hear my drone flying from a half a mile away. Now, someone who's attempting to do that is not going to get away with that for very long. And I've seen it quite a few times now. It's kind of popping up. People are getting busted for using drones for hunting. and I've heard people saying that they've heard a lot of complaints about it, and people are aware. That just proves to me how obvious the drones are. People are not getting away with it. People are seeing that as an example as to why drones need to be banned. I see that as an example as why people aren't going to get away with what everybody thinks they're getting away with. You know, especially on public land, you're going to be taking off and landing in a public parking area. Other people are going to see you doing that, especially standing outside with a remote, because you need to be outside of your vehicle with the remote searching for deer. Taking off and landing is loud and obvious, and people are going to see people doing that. You're not going to be able to they're going to have to do it during the day, because flying it at night is going to be pointless. Because by the time, let's say they fly the drone at night when no one's around, they find a nice buck. That buck is not going to be anywhere near that location during the day. It's not going to help him find that deer. Now, let's say he does do it during the day and he doesn't get caught and he's really that brave. Now, maybe that'll help him during gun season, but bow season, there's no way he's going to be able to sneak up on that deer. I mean, the chances of him doing it, very, very slim to none. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying very difficult to do. The other thing is trying to determine exactly where that deer is on the ground compared to being in the air. Another difficult thing to do. The deer is going to bust you before you find him. It's not the same as finding a deer when you're walking through the woods and you spot it and you sneak up on it. It's easy to get turned around and not really, I don't know how to explain it. It's just very hard to find the deer when you look at it from the air right here. Let's say I look at down on the ground right here. Let's say I find a deer right here. Okay. Now, I can look at my map and see where that tree is, where that deer is. Right? Now, when I get in the woods and I'm on the ground, how am I going to know what tree that is? You understand what I'm saying? Like, everything looks the same, and it's very hard. The ground looks different. When you're on the ground, things look different than what they do in the air, is what I'm trying to say. But again, I understand, not impossible. People are doing it, attempting it, trying it. They're getting caught, which proves my point that it's not as easy as people think to get away with. But let's get back again to the dog idea, okay? So now people are against the drones mainly because they're afraid of the hunting, and then people are going to use the drone and then go in there and dispatch the deer and what have you. I just seen a video today of a dog tracker that found a wounded deer for someone. I don't know if it's legal in the state that they're in, but this is what happened. The deer was still alive. The hunter had the weapon. They dispatched the deer. Now, that's what happened with the dog. They used a dog to track a wounded deer. Wounded deer still alive. Hunter killed the deer with the use of a dog. The dog is right there. That is not allowed with drones. Okay? So you are for dogs and people doing that, but you're against drones or people are not doing that. And you think that is more fair? Because I think that is a little bit sketchy to me to be able to use that dog and do that. Now, maybe that's not legal every state, but even if, let's say, for example, a dog is with the hunter, they're tracking a deer, the hunter doesn't have a weapon, and it's not legal to do, but they find the deer alive, the hunter's right there, the deer doesn't get up, the deer stays there, the hunter knows where that deer is now, the dog tracker leaves and says, hey, you can't go in there and dispatch that deer, it's illegal to do that because you use a dog. The hunter still is going to know where that deer is exactly because he was with you when you were tracking that deer. He's going to go back in there, and he's going to shoot that deer, and he's going to get that deer that way with the use of a dog in that manner. The drone guy is not going to do that because the drones guy is not going to tell you where that pin is, where that deer is on the map. He's just not going to do it. Maybe some would, but I have to believe most are not going to. Now that just gives you my other perspective, which is people that do illegal things are going to do illegal things, no matter if it's a dog or a drone. The dog guy who's gonna do illegal things is gonna tell you where that deer is when he's not supposed to, and let you uh, bring a weapon, or you know what I mean. A dog guy is going to do that if if he has that kind of mindset. It's no different than a drone. People are going to abuse both things no matter what. Just like people who spotlight deer at night and shoot them out of their vehicle. You're never going to be able to stop illegal people doing illegal things no matter what. If they want to do it, they're going to do it. If you ban drones from hunting to help people recover deer, people are still going to use drones to do exactly what you're worried about if they want to do it. It's not going to stop them, okay? There's already regulations in place stopping that from happening, and if people are doing it, it's not stopping them, all right? So it doesn't make sense to me personally to make something illegal that's helping people recover their deer. Obviously, drones have a great benefit over dogs. I have found several deer expired that they called me in after a dog, and the dog did not find it. And with the drone, I found the deer expired, and the hunter got the deer. I've also been able to find them alive. With a drone, with a dog, a lot of times they can't because the deer keeps moving, and they keep picking it up until they eventually give up on the search because there's another buck. It doesn't make sense for them to keep pushing the deer, because then they tell you the deer's not gonna die, and they don't know where it's wounded, so on and so forth. With this, I can actually go in, I can show you exactly where the deer is wounded. It won't scare the deer. It's non-invasive. I can zoom in and show you, obviously not where the deer is, but I can zoom in and show you where it's hit and tell you if it's going to expire or not. And a lot of times I'll come back and I will do a search for the deer again and see if it's still in the same spot, if it got up, and you get the idea. There's just, and I want to just bring this up to you. I know that there are also, on the flip side, there are dog trackers that are finding deer that drone pilots did not find. I know that that happens because sometimes deer go a lot further than what we expect, and a drone guy maybe is not experienced, and he gives up on the search and doesn't search a big enough area, and the dog can obviously track further and find a deer that a drone sometimes can't. There's also inexperienced dog trackers too, so it goes both ways. It just really depends. You need to find an experienced dog tracker, and you need to find an experienced drone pilot. Okay? Don't just trust someone new. Find someone with some experience to look for your deer. Um, really, the point is, in my opinion, they are both great tools, and neither one should be banned. They both have their place. Okay, if one doesn't work, maybe the other one will. Maybe if the dog can't find it, maybe the drone will. Maybe if the drone can't find it, maybe the dog will. I think hunters should be able to use every tool to find their deer, to get answers, find out if it's wounded, if it's going to die, if it's not going to die. We should be able to take every effort to find the deer. All right, that's just my opinion, and no, I hope other people agree with that, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And we're going to come back, we're going to land, my battery is going to die. And there's probably more I could have said about this subject, but I've rambled on for enough time, so that is it. Thank you.